Sport, I'm Thando Gqamane. Well, it's safe to say the Proteas haven't started their ODI series well against India. Defeat in Durban was followed by another loss in Pretoria. The third ODI of the series takes place at Newlands on Wednesday, and to chat more about this, we now welcome on the line from Cape Town our very own sports commentator and analyst Thando Gqamane. Very good afternoon to you, Thando. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, the previous two ODI defeats in Pretoria and Durban suggest that the Indian spinners are quite unplayable.
Yeah, definitely, Nugget. So they are quite unplayable, and thanks very much for this opportunity. I think more than anything, it proves that India are a much better powerhouse, or they are a much bigger and a much stronger unit than the Proteas. And I mean, South Africa were without AB de Villiers to start with in the first two ODIs, and now after the second ODI, they will be without Faf du Plessis. And I think you've really felt that their position has been sorely missed by the Proteas. It's a young side. They've said they'll keep rotating the side as well and trying to figure out where players are in search of a perfect squad for the 2019 World Cup. But credit must be given to India as well. If you remember, South Africa beat India in the ODI series. So this is somewhat a little bit of revenge with a little bit of pepper on top of it as well.
Now, Madala, you'll recall that our young acting captain Aiden Makram batted at number 4 in Durban, scoring 9 of 21 balls, and at number 3 in Centurion, scoring 8 of 11. How then do we justify giving him such a huge responsibility against a team like India?
It's a huge responsibility, something that we had been calling for to be done quite long ago, So I think if you remember, we've had one or two chats about this, especially before and when they came back from England as well. South Africa, that is, after the Champions Trophy, and obviously also after the series we had against England. And when we spoke about this, and we asked a couple of these questions to the selectors themselves and also the powers that be at Cricket South Africa, was when are they going to be given a chance? When are we going to officially start seeing these players being given a chance and staking a claim? And unfortunately now, it comes at such an expense. It's against a quality side like India. We can't blame these youngsters. Kaya Zondos has their first cap, and, safe to say that they've tried putting their hand up in that first game, and top joint scorer for South Africa with also JP Domani there. But nonetheless, this is something that could have been done much earlier, whilst we did not have the injuries that we have that have forced the likes of Faf du Plessis, AB de Villiers, and now Quinton de Kock, who's also out of this next and the third ODI. So this is something that was inevitable, but it just took such a long time that it has come at a time where the side is disjointed and obviously disorientated by injuries. But nonetheless, we still should be able to put up a better fight against a side like India.
Indeed, indeed. Now, the Proteas flopped with the bat and could only muster 118 in 32.2 overs in Durban. Now, pressure is really mounting on batting coach Dale Beckenstein.
Yeah, definitely mounting on him, but I really think at the stage he has done all that he could have done, and he has tried to do all that he could have done. And I think more than anything, we really need to look at it and understand that this is a new coaching team, a new coaching staff that has just come in to take over the reins here into these Proteas side. And I think more than anything, we therefore then need to understand that we need to give them time and all this. It's been disjointed and disoriented at first, long ago, before these gentlemen took over, and once they have taken over, and I think we need to give them time. He is under pressure. He is feeling the pressure. By no means is Dale Beckenstein, but we really do need to give him time, and together with Otis Gibson. It's only one series against such a competitive side in India. So I think more than that, we really need to make sure that we give them time and let them do their job. I think I haven't heard anyone praising this young man also from the former Cobras player in Justin Ontong for the way South Africa have fielded when they have played good cricket. But when they have not played good cricket, obviously, it has been somewhat a couple of words said that, look, he's inexperienced, Justin Ontong that is, and why would we expect that he would do such a job and be able to do such a job so well? But nonetheless, out of all the other times that we've been giving them a chance, we need to make sure that we equally give them enough opportunity to see their work and also to see their work.
But then, having said that, do you think the same fate that befell Alistair Coetzee will also experience it? Or is it rather a far-fetched observation?
It's a little bit of both, Nugget. And I think for Alistair Coetzee, when they do not want to give him his contract, that's the South African Rugby Football Union, and they said that, look, we need you to sign, but you will not literally have any say, therefore, in what happens. If we make a decision to oust you in the midst of doing your contract, there will be no payout. And that's one of the reasons why it took so long for Alistair Coetzee to sign his contract. I mean, that should have just been seen as a disclaimer that says, look, when we are tired of you, we will find a way out for you. But he needed to be reassured, Alistair Coetzee, and hence he went to them and said, look, if anything happens during this period, I want it in writing, and I'm not going to sign until something says in writing that if you do fire me during this period, I will get compensation of a certain amount or this much or that much. And fortunately, that's what we have seen now. They've decided that, look, we'll part ways, but amicably, because he will get whatever is due to him. And that's that disclaimer that Alistair Coetzee had to have in his contract. But for cricketers, I think more than anything, it's a matter of getting this young group believing in their abilities and where they could be. Whether it's against India, it's not going to get any easier. For there's Australia coming next, and after Australia, we're going to be playing a couple of ODIs as well, just to make sure we are ready for 2019 when it does come around. So these young boys need to fire at all costs, even if it's against India. We need to go down. If we are going down, we need to go down fighting, and not the fact that without Faf du Plessis, AB de Villiers, and now Quinton de Kock, the Proteas are really not going to do much.
Now, look, it's not at all a secret that the Proteas are also affected by injury problems to key players. I mean, AB de Villiers, for starters, was ruled out before the first ODI, Captain Faf du Plessis before the second, and both suffered finger injuries. Now, wicket-keeper Quinton de Kock is ruled out of the third ODI with a left wrist injury.
Yeah, you look, just get the sense that Quinton de Kock had been playing with a little bit of a hand and niggling injury there. I mean, after almost every second, the third over, he would clutch his hands and put them behind his back and sort of trying to soothe the pain that you could visibly see at all times when he was playing in a cricket match. And I think his injury was also escalated a little bit when he was hit by the ball on his wrist. So that tells you something. You look to be coming out second best after we had peppered each other, India and South Africa, with footballs during the test series, and they hit the gloves quite a lot. Look, it says a lot about your timing and also where your technique is and where your game is. Quinton de Kock has been found wanting with the bat a couple of times now, and I think this rest will come in due course for him. But nonetheless, can't say the same thing of Faf du Plessis and AB de Villiers. And I mean, for a cricketer, a finger injury is something that's very, very key, because you can do very little with that finger injury if you want to still force matters and play, because everything is coordinated around catching a hard ball and even using your fingers whether to bat or bowl or field at all times. So these were some things that we could have prepared for in advance and made sure that by the time such things happen, or even at a later stage, retirement does happen for the likes of Hashim Amla, Thando Gqamane, who have retired. We do not go into the same position that we've always been in, trying to figure out who to pass the baton to now. We should already know who is coming into the team next. Thereafter, make sure we integrate them into the team whilst these key players and senior players are still fully fit and 100%, so that it could be like taking like a duck taking to water when they are obviously unavailable.
All right, Madala, as always, thank you so much for being in analytical overdrive. We appreciate your time. That is our sports commentator and reporter, Thando Gqamane.